Hello and welcome to the Finest Women in Real Estate. I'm your host, Kimberly Whitfield, and today we're going to talk about the subject of investing in real estate. I'm very excited to be here with some of the finest in real estate. We have Teresa Vo, who is a real estate broker and with Vo Properties and Investments Incorporated. Yes. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We have Steve Matley, who is the president of Coast to Coast Equities.
Good to see you, Kimberly.
Thank you. And we have Michelle Limon, who is the branch manager and the head of Team Limon at Wallack and Volkes.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks so much for being here. So I'm really excited to be talking of the subject of real estate investing because I've always been fascinated by it. I've never actually done it besides just buying and selling my own home. We've never actually invested in real estate. And I know that both you, Teresa, and Steve are investors yourself, as well as guiding people through the investment process. And Michelle, you have a lot of experience on the real estate side in dealing with people who are investing in real estate. So Teresa, I'd like to start with you, and I'd love to know how you got your start in investing in real estate.
Well, I actually got into real estate mostly primarily so that I could learn on my own, or why I stayed in real estate. Like everything I've done is to personally learn how to be my own investor, but I just love that I get to help my clients buy and sell and do the same thing as well. So do you have any questions specifically?
No, not yet. I just wanted to kind of know how you got your start, but that makes sense. You want to do it before you can actually
Of course, like I am a firm
right?
believer in practice what you preach. And really the reason why I love real estate is, I mean, not only is it a home and it provides such emotional security, but you have the financial security behind it too, where it's an investment vehicle, an asset, and then even a legacy.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Steve, how did you get started investing in real estate?
Started in real estate just by buying a place to live myself. And having a little bit of short funds in my younger years, I did have good construction skills. I actually chair the construction management program for a college. So at that time, I was working as a contractor. So as contractor, you buy it, you fix it up. And I would buy the worst house in the best neighborhood I could afford. Now, people are tempted sometimes to buy the best house in whatever they can find, but you can't fix an entire neighborhood or a city, but you can fix your house. And that's what I did. And they would appreciate, and then you move to the next place that's a little nicer. You buy a dump in a nicer neighborhood that's a little larger. You fix that one up. Mm-hmm. And it just moved on till eventually I was buying rental homes. I did some fix and flips. And now primarily I do land flips. I buy raw land and entitle it and sell it to the home builders.
Amazing. So the Chevy and the Cadillac neighborhood, and then you moved on to the Bentley of real estate investing.
Right.
Amazing.
And I don't have to build anything.
I love it.
There you go.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Sweat equity is worth something, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'd rather take the arrows at the planning commission than have to go to Home Depot and buy all the stuff and break my back trying to do the work. So,
wonderful. I love it. Thank you so much for that. And Michelle, how did you get your start in helping guide people through the investing in real estate topic?
Well, I got into the industry about 24 years ago on the lending aspect. So I'm there to help educate the consumer in regards to investing in real estate as far as the finance side. So not everybody has the upfront money to do that. So there's a lot of different options for them to gain financing in order to invest in real estate too. And strategically, how do we start? Do we start as a primary residence and grow that quite like what Steve did? Or I educate them on maybe multiple units on the one property. So not just a single family, but 2, 3, or 4 units, rent those out, grow some equity, maybe sell that and move to another property, or keep that and take the equity and purchase another property. So, you know, the statistic is 90% of the millionaires out there started by investing in real estate.
Absolutely. Great point. Wonderful. So I'd love to move on to the subject of the different types of real estate that you can invest in, the different types of real estate investments. So Teresa, what are different types of real estate investments and maybe some that you specialize in specifically?
Sure. Well, I specifically specialize in residential real estate. So I work with everything from flippers to mom and pop to buy and hold investors, all within the residential realm. But really the great thing about real estate is there's so many different ways to get involved and invest. And I think we have such a great group of people here to discuss that. But really, when you start investing in real estate, you need to ask yourself what your objectives are. You need to ask yourself questions like, what are my short-term goals? What are my long-term goals? What are my longer-term goals? You need to ask yourself how involved you want to be. You need to talk about your budget, what you have to be able to put down as a down payment and what you can afford in getting qualified for financing. And so all of these, when you start answering these questions, they will help gear you towards which investment vehicle you're going to be moving into, whether it's residential, multifamily, commercial. You can even get in, if you want to be completely passive investor, you can get on the financing side and invest in hard money lending. So really, there is a way for you to invest so many different ways. You just have to find the right way for you.
Wonderful. So I guess the first step would be figure out where you're at
Exactly.
and where you could start.
You need to sit down with a team, with a broker, a lender, and start answering some of those questions. And in determining those answers, you'll start to figure out which way is the best way for you to make your money.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Steve, so I know you mentioned that you're now doing the land development
That's right.
and flipping. So what in that, how would someone go and get into that type of real estate investing? Because I think that's very unique compared to residential.
Right. You don't just run out and get into it.
Right.
And it's similar to house flipping, but house flipping is somewhat dead because HGTV sort of ruined it for everybody. Everybody jumped into it. People don't understand the land market. And what that means is if you're starting off on that, you're going to want to partner with people that actually do understand it, because you can get burned really bad if you don't know what you're doing in anything. Even if you're doing a house flip, if you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to lose money. The land flip, you just probably have more to lose, but there's much more to gain. And what I like about the land flipping side is you're not looking at that 5%, 10%, 12% return that most people are looking at real estate. We don't look at a job that has less than 40% annualized ROI because it's just not worth getting out of bed for. So it's a different mentality, it's a different way of thinking, and it's a very specialized field. The key there is for us is we specialize in only certain agencies having jurisdiction, certain locations, cities we can work with. We don't work in the coastal counties. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. There's a lot of money to be made, but you need 5 to 10 years to make that happen. Yeah. We try to make our stuff happen in anywhere from 16 months to 30 months. It's California. California is grossly overregulated when it comes to that, and that is a negative for a lot of the developers. We found it's what makes us money. Yeah. My partner in Florida cannot do this in his state because in Florida, anybody in 120 days can do what can take us 3 years to do in California. Yeah. And bring investors in, we syndicate that. We share the pot. So if you don't know how to get in, you don't have $1 million to buy land, you can put $25,000 up into a syndicated deal with people that do know how to manage it and ride that train until fruition and start building that. And the truth is, if people watch what we're doing and learn from it and do it on their own, that's fine with me. There's plenty of pie to go around. Everybody can have a slice of it. I'm not intimidated by that. It's okay.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure you mentor quite a few people on how to do all of this. Yes. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk to Michelle, and stay tuned to the Finest Women in Real Estate.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good.
I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I bring the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Welcome back to the Finest Women in Real Estate. I'm your host, Kimberly Whitfield, and I am here with 3 of the finest in real estate. I'm here with Teresa Vo, Steve Matley, and Michelle Limon. And when we left off, we were talking about different types of real estate investing. And we left off with Michelle. I know, Michelle, there's a specific type of real estate investing that you deal with your clients with a lot.
So clients that are coming in and seeking financing because they don't have the cash to put down, we strategically look at what type of financing that they need. They might start off with a single family and then turn that into a rental and purchase their next single family. That's a way to build up some of their portfolio. You can also start out with a multiple family, 2, 3, and 4 units. And some people get a little nervous because they think, well, gosh, that's such a big purchase, but You can use the rents that you receive from units 2, 3, and 4 to help you qualify for that much larger purchase price as well. And strategically, you want to work with a realtor or an investor that can say this property is going to net you a return of XYZ for that bedroom, bathroom as far as rent. So that 1 bedroom, how much rent can you get? For that 2 bedroom, how much rent can you get? So you can make sure that you're investing, making some money, and not necessarily shelling out of your pocket. That's kind of not what you really want to do in investing. You want to make money.
Yes, absolutely. And that's something I didn't know, Michelle, is that up to a 4 unit home or building is considered residential and not multifamily or commercial. So
correct.
I learned something new today.
Yeah,
Thank
5
you for
units
that.
and above becomes commercial.
That's amazing. So the next thing I want to talk about, because I'm sure there are a lot of them, pros and cons of real estate. So real estate investing. So Teresa, I'd love to know what you think are like the top 3 pros and cons or in investing in real estate.
I wouldn't say there's a top. There's really a million pros and
Yeah.
a million cons. But if you do it the right way, it should only be pros. But really, that's why you want to have a team that can lay out a plan for you, and then also set up a backup plan. And if you do it the right way, really, you should always make money in real estate.
Okay. Well, that's a great answer. Let's hope we all do it the right way and have the right team, right?
Yes.
Steve, would you say there are any specifics that stand out on pros or cons of?
The pros are that, as Michelle mentioned before about the millionaires and how many of them started with real estate, it's unlimited. And the common person, despite education, socioeconomic background, race, religion, gender, doesn't matter, can make a lot of money in real estate if they do it right. It's a great equalizer for everybody. The key is don't get into something you really don't understand. By caution, one of the con things is actually the people that con you in the business, and that is people sell their systems instead of selling the investments. And I figure people that are out there selling their systems to make you rich, if their system worked, they'd be doing the system and making money in real estate, not trying to sell you the system at the Marriott on a Saturday.
Great point.
And that's something you gotta be really cautious of, because everybody's out there that can't do it but read a book or went to a seminar, put the information together, now they want to sell that because they don't know how to do it themselves in real estate. So get with people that actually have done it. Right here, people that have made money and know what they're doing. That's the kind of people to put on your team that have actually made the money doing it.
That makes so much sense, Steve. Thank you so much for that. Michelle, in your experience, what would you say are some pros and cons of investing in real estate, or maybe you've seen happen to some of your clients?
Well, the pros are obviously you're going to make money. It's a tax deferred vehicle. You're going to get some tax deductions off that. You're depreciating some of those investments that are in your portfolio. It's a legacy for you to pass on to your children. The pro is you can sell one property for equity and take that money and invest into another piece of property. The cons are you really want to make sure that when you purchase that investment, that the amount of the monthly payment is actually netting you some money. I often tell people to not necessarily do this by themselves, maybe hire a property management company, because the cons are, the plumbing goes out and you have to become the property manager and go over there and fix the electrical or hire a plumber or what have you. So hiring a property management company to run that for you is much better, and you take that con and turn it into a pro. But you really want to make sure that you're sitting down with a professional team to make sure that strategically you've put this asset into an investment and you're returning some money. And then when you're working with a realtor, have we maximized that investment? There might be a time where now's a great time to sell because you're going to get the most money for the bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage, and sell now, sell high, buy low, right? Yep. So you want to work with an investment team that is going to help you be able to tell when the time is right to sell as well.
Totally. And thank you, Michelle, because you brought up a great point, which is some of the legal issues that might come up when you have issues at the property, or different things that might happen. So Teresa, you want to talk a little bit about some of the maybe legal issues that you've seen and how, I know you can't give legal advice, but what you have seen and how they've been dealt with.
Sure. Well, again, it all comes back to having the right team, right? Because there's a million things that can come up, whether it's, especially like when we were talking about, there's a lot of flippers out there, right? And things come up. Sometimes something happens with the plumbing, the electrical. Things come up. It's a house, like, and it's not a brand new house that you're buying. Things break. So sometimes people will get, we're in California. Everybody wants to sue over everything. So whether it's something breaks or disclosures would be a really main thing. My philosophy is always you want to over disclose. Because as long as you tell a buyer what they're getting into, then they have a full picture and they will pay you the right price for it, or they can take the right precautions for it. So I would say the main time you're going to run into legal problems if you're hiding something, which, you know, I just don't believe in. So as long as you're honest up front, and then you take the right precautions, again, having the same team, making sure that, let's say when somebody buys a home, you provide a home warranty plan. And that way that makes sure that if something comes up in the first year that you have a home, it covers some of those repairs. There's a million ways that you can go over it, right? But again, it really just comes down to making sure you have the right team in place.
Wonderful.
So that they can, you know, lead you through that whole process.
Absolutely. That's key, right?
Yes.
The team. You got to have your team.
Exactly.
So Steve, I know you obviously have a niche market right now. What, just really quickly, what kind of real estate legal issues have you maybe run into?
Well, first of all, anybody getting into this needs to have a good real estate attorney
Yeah.
and an excellent real estate tax advisor.
Correct.
Part of it is knowing how to invest in it. We invest through LLCs, general partnerships, C corporations, or sometimes individually, depending on what works. Know the rules and what your end game is. What is the outcome you're looking for? And then go to those experts that can inform you on things that you can't possibly know the tax code.
Yeah.
You can't possibly know all the illegal issues that have come up. Make sure they've read every word of the contract from a legally trained mind's point of view. Get the right people, as you said, hire the pros. Get the people to make sure so that you're doing the right thing and make sure you're with people that have done it before. For us, we do a lot of them under LLCs, and people aren't actually investing in the real estate, they're investing in that company, which owns the real estate and all the entitlements and assets that go with it.
Amazing. So we're learning today that the key word here is you need your A-team, like
Yes.
on board.
And don't be afraid to ask that A-team all the hard questions. Like, this is the people, these are the people that are going to be taking care of your money and your investments. So ask them all the questions. Do a good job interviewing them up front.
Amazing. So I'm learning so much today. I hope you all are learning as well. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text to emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
A little.
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
First time I tried Vicodin, and it was laying around my mom's house. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more. Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Hello and welcome back to the Finest Women in Real Estate. I'm your host, Kimberly Whitfield, and I'm here with some of the finest in real estate. And so to close out the show, I really wanted to get from each one of you your biggest number one tip on what someone can do to have the most success or to get started in investing in real estate. So Teresa, we'll start with you.
Sure, I would just say don't be scared, just do it. Home ownership is absolutely attainable, and you just need to keep that as a mindset. And it may not happen tomorrow or next month or even next year, but if you sit down and you ask the right questions and you create a plan, you will absolutely get there.
I love it. Thank you so much. Steve.
Ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid of asking questions you think are stupid, and don't be afraid of going to the professionals and picking their brains a little bit. And pick what works for you. There are people that don't actually invest in the real estate. They do private lending for other people's projects using their self-directed IRAs, self-directed HSAs. They become the bank, and that's better for them than doing the actual real estate investment themselves. Do what works for you, do your homework, research it, look at the options, and do what's comfortable within your tolerance of risk level.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Steve. Michelle, love to hear from you.
So I always say sit down with a financial advisor, CPA, as well as a mortgage consultant, because we want to look at all of the numbers and make sure that what you're investing in you can afford. Make sure that there's some tax deductions for you. How is the CPA going to deplete that asset and give you a retirement vehicle out of it? And then work with a financial consultant into tying all three of those together to make sure that the investment is worth jumping into. Sometimes it's not always a good investment when you find something.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to look at when you find that piece of property. You want to get a return on your money is what you want to do.
Absolutely. We all want to build that real estate empire, right? Well, now, I don't know if you guys do, but now I want to. I'm so inspired. We've learned some of the pitfalls of real estate investing, but also how to avoid them. Having your A-team on board with you all the time, not being afraid to ask questions is so important, and really just surround yourself with the professionals, as you guys have said many times today. So I'm super inspired. I hope you are as well. Tune in to The Finest Women in Real Estate 24/7 on EAN TV network on Amazon Fire Stick and Roku. I'm your host, Kimberly Whitfield. I'm so thankful to have been here today with Teresa, Steve, and Michelle. And stay tuned next time. We'll see you soon.